We're at the end of the year and it's time to not only celebrate the good, but it's also time to celebrate the bad. Now, I've been sharing with you guys the top 24 patterns by each brand, but let's talk about the 24 worst patterns by the Big Four. And you notice I didn't say the Big Five because I'm not going to include No Me pattern brand in this collection. I'm only going to be focusing on the Big Four, which will be Simplicity, Butterick, Vogue, and McCall's. All right. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing, or I'm going to running it back and share with you guys 24 of the worst patterns that dropped this year in 2024. So if that's some content you would like to see, please continue to watch. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs. In this video, we're going to be running it back and talk about those worst patterns that dropped this year in 2024. Now, I'm breaking it down into the Big Four patterns: Simplicity, McCall's, Butterick, and Vogue. No Me brand, New Look, and Berta brand will not be included in this one. Reason being is because it's not many that came out for New Look and Berta patterns. And we don't really tend to buy a lot of the Berta patterns anyway. That's more like the UK buys the Berta patterns. Plus, Berta patterns don't be on sale very often, 4 times a year here in the United States. So I decided to leave those off. When it comes to New Look patterns, I decided to leave those off because they've been repeated, all year long. And then when it comes to No Me brand, we don't need to do those simply because they can be a hit and miss with most people. Now, I support whether, it's my style or not. I support the No Me brand, and I'm friends with a lot of the individuals for the No Me brand. So I am not. There is no way that I'm just going to be calling people out or anything and be like, yo, your pattern is bad. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Take that with somebody else who cares, but I really don't care to even say that, because when I do my drop, I always say I'm going to support even if the pattern is not for me. So I'm not going to bring nobody down in the No Me brand because I talked to many of them for the No Me brand. If you don't like the brand, that is up to you, but I know what I'm going to do. All right. So reeling it back, this will be 24 of the worst patterns by the Big Four patterns that dropped this year in 2024. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Simplicity pattern. It's 7 of those, I believe. The McCall brand, 7 of those as well. And then I'm going to finish off with Butterick and Vogue. So let's go ahead and talk about the first one. Now, the first one is Simplicity. Now, I'm going to start with Simplicity, and then when I switch over, I'll tell you the number. Now, first one, Simplicity 9947 and 9948. Now, with this pattern, it just looks like even the plus size women was not into this pattern. This just looked like a throw on. I mean, like, if you are all about super comfort and all that good stuff, this may be the pattern for you. But this does not look appealing to anybody. Like, I don't even think my grandmother would wear this, to be honest with you. But this is one of the patterns that made the list. The only thing that I could see that many probably picked up this pattern up is because it's easy to sew. That's about it. But other than that, this pattern made the list of one of the patterns that was the worst. Now, you guys got to remember, I took notes from when you guys see my pattern drops and you're like, this is bad. I also looked at Aronica B. Cole's video. I have also looked at all the other ladies' videos that I follow in these YouTube streets, as well as the Instagram streets too. So this one was definitely one that y'all was not feeling this year. Let's go ahead and move over to the next Simplicity pattern. All right, so next up, 9949. And this one it reminds me of one of the ones that I did a sew along for. 9742 was that pattern number, and it was like a repeat. This one did not make the list of the top 24, but it definitely made the list for the top 24 of the worst patterns that dropped. So I'm just gonna say, I could see why. Now, I didn't pick this pattern up, but it just seems like it's fitted at the bodice and the waist, and then it just flares out. No dimension to it whatsoever. Nothing. Just a pleated skirt. We can make pleated skirts. So yeah, it made the list of the worst pattern this year. Next pattern. Next one is 9951. Now this pattern, I didn't pick up either. And the reason why is because that little flounce or whatever you want to call right at the mid section, it makes it look like you preggo. And I'm sorry, but I was looking at a couple of you guys' videos when you guys picked up patterns and talked about the pattern release. And this one was not a fan's favorite, okay? Many of you guys agree with me with the little flounce going on right at the, waist area that could potentially make you look preggo. So yeah, it wasn't a fan's favorite. Once again, it's 9951. Next up, we're gonna get into some vintage patterns. Now, the reason why these vintage patterns, I don't think it's because they were just bad. I think it's because of sizing. And being someone who's always fallen at the larger end of the 8 to 16 or 8 to 18, or at the smaller end of like 18 to 22. This one did not give many size range for sure. This is for the itty bitty titty committee and the petite girls, okay? And I don't mean that like to be rude or anything, but this pattern, I remember when I did the drop, the size range is size 6 to 16. So if you're rocking a bust of a C or a D or a double D or whatever, right? Your bust is not going to fit in it. You're going to have to do a FBA, full bust adjustment. So this one didn't make the list for a lot of us women. The pattern number is 9965, which is like a vintage 1970s Mrs. Knit top. And I don't think that it's particularly a bad pattern. It's not for me. I'll be honest there. It's not for me, but this pattern was not size inclusive. All right. Moving over to the next pattern. So the next one is 9966, and I think this one is the same thing. It's a 1980 Mrs. top, but for this one, it's the exact same thing. The sizing range from 6 to 16. So if you're a full bust lady like myself, it's not gonna work for you, okay? So once again, this is 9966. Moving over to the next pattern. Next one, we're gonna get into some bottoms, and it's the same thing as the previous two for vintage pattern. It's 9977. Now this one, being a woman who's curvy, it's not gonna work for me. This one is even worse. This is not even 6 to 16. This one was like, oh, we only want the petite women's. 6 to 14 was the size, which it's like if you're an ironing board in the back, if you know what I'm not talking about. If you just flat in the back like an ironing board, this pattern will work for you. But for us who have a little bootay and a little hefty in the back area or have a big bum, this pattern is not size inclusive whatsoever. But once again, this pattern is 9977. Let's move over to the next pattern. So those are all the simplicity patterns. Let's go ahead and talk about the McCall's patterns. Now, the first pattern on the list, a pair of pajamas. Okay, like here's the thing, like every brand releases pajamas every single year. I don't know how many patterns we see that are pajamas, are robes, are so-called lingerie set. Like how many apron patterns you're gonna release every single year? Like, come on. But this one, no one was really feeling. This pattern is 8484. Now, even though they have the color block going on and all that stuff, this pattern was not hot. It doesn't even look hot. The model doesn't even look hot on the pattern. Like, now, can we sewists make this pattern sing? And what I mean sing, I'm talking about, can we do something to make the pattern appealing to others? Absolutely. However, this pattern just ain't it. It's not it whatsoever. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. All right, so the next one is 8481. Now I understand that they bring in pickleball back. However, this top skirt situation It's not it. It's not it. I understand that we bringing it back, we reeling it back, but I don't know anyone who said that they were going to pick up this pattern who actually sews and in the sewing community. If you really picked up this pattern, McCall's 8481, drop me, now I'm not going to call nobody out, but drop me a fist or something in the comment section below. But if you did not pick it, I'd be like, girl, I understand what you're talking about, right? In the comment section below. Because we need to keep this discussion going. Do you agree or disagree? Even though if you don't disagree with me, it's all good. It's all good. But this one, this top and squirt pattern, it's not it. It didn't make the top, but it definitely made the bottom. Let's go ahead and get into the next pattern. Next up is 8485. Now, I talked about 8481, which was the missus pattern, but this is the men pattern, right? For the pickleball style wardrobe or whatever. Unless you're going to Augusta Masters, this may be for you in March. It normally goes during spring break, right? But let's say this. No, I still can't see it. But if it's for you, it's for you. It's just not for me. And a lot of the ladies in the community agreed that it's not for us. So I don't know what they was thinking when they put this pattern together, but this is not it. It's not it, okay? But once again, this is 8485. Next pattern, 8515. Now this one is a missus dress, top, and pants pattern. I'm gonna be honest. This pattern is not appealing. The model does not look good in it whatsoever. However, I can see some potential, and the potential is hacking the pattern. But this pattern definitely made the bottom of the list and not the top of the list. It wasn't even in between, like, it's okay, no. A lot of the comments that I received when this pattern dropped was, who wears that? Who wearing this in 2024? And some of the comments be hilarious during my, well, no, most of them are hilarious during my drop videos. Like low key, you guys love these drop videos because y'all know I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys during the drop. Okay. But let's go ahead and get over to the next pattern. Next one is 8541. And this pattern is a 1980s missus jacket. Now, I can see the good, the bad, and the ugly in this pattern. The good is that it's 1980s and it's a vintage patterns. And it's a jacket or a blazer. The bad is, what's up with the puffy sleeves? Like, I don't know. But the ugly part about it is view B. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If my parents put me in this in 1980, I would be mad too. I would be mad at my parents. Okay. This pattern is not cute whatsoever. I'm trying to make it cute or look at it in a different lens, but I don't wear glasses and I can't look at it from a different lens. So the only lens that I can look at it in is it's not cute. It's not. But let's go ahead and get over to the next pattern. OMG. This pattern right here, men's pattern, 8536. All right, so when this pattern dropped, I definitely said this pattern is not for me. Like, my husband would not wear these pants. I don't even think my brothers, my cousins, my nephews, my uncles, I don't think no one in my family would wear this pattern whatsoever. It's 8536. Now, first of all, most men do not have a big bootay, okay? Bootay, okay? They have firm, they have a fit if they go to the gym, but I don't see many men that just have a big badonkadonk, right? And they booty go fit in these pants. These pants are super baggy, okay? Like super baggy. Now, this is a short and pants pattern, 8536, by the way. It's a cargo style short and pants pattern. Now, here's the thing. I love cargo pants. But if you make it shorts, how cute will they be? They will not. And these are super freaking baggy. Now, I even looked up the hashtag on Instagram, even though Instagram is not, the hashtags are not working properly, but I didn't see anyone make this pattern. Like, for those of you who are married, would your husband wear this pattern? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm just wondering, like, what were they thinking with this pattern? Did they think us women was gonna sew it together or make it or wear it? Yeah, I don't know, but this is not a attractive pattern. Once again, it's 8536. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. All right, so the last McCall's pattern before we get over to Butterick is 8530. Now, this is the Mrs. Top. I can see some potentials, but it's not cute. This pattern is not cute. Yeah. I have no words. No words for this pattern. It seemed as if they took a different pattern, which I think is 8113, if I remember correctly. I'll put it up on the screen so you're able to see it. I think they took that pattern and just basically decided to put some lace everywhere. Now, lace is cute in the right setting, right? But to have lace here, lace underneath the boob, or I should say the midriff, and then lace at the bottom, it just seems like it's too much lace, okay? In my opinion, okay? This is my opinion. But if you picked up the pattern, great. But yeah, what the model have on is not cute. It's not, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. Let's go ahead and start talking about the Butterick patterns. All right, so now we're gonna talk about the Butterick patterns. And you guys know that Butterick patterns are a hit and a miss. Now, I will say Butterick came through for the fall, okay? For the fall. Spring and summer for Butterick was like, It was more miss than hits, okay? So they came through for the fall. But let's go ahead and get into these 2024 worst patterns for Butterick. The first one, 6981. Now, this is a Catherine Tilton pattern. It is a tunic. Now, one thing I want to mention about the art, I like to call it art for Catherine Tilton. The A, the R, and the T in her name. One thing that I noticed by just picking up patterns that she have made, she does a lot of tunic, and the tunic seems to mirror every single season the same thing. Like, how many of the same tunic patterns we're going to make. Now, if that's for you, that's for you. Okay, it's just my opinion. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this pattern got left in Joann's for several reasons, right? It's a remake of a previous pattern that she have already made. The handkerchief style tunic top, like, no ma'am, no ma'am. Next, so next up, we have 6983. This is another pattern that was a complete miss. It is a dress pattern. I don't know if it's the flutter sleeve or just too many tiers. Now, if you're 6 foot tall, glamazon, you know what I mean? This pattern may be for you. But for us who's 5 feet through 5'7", I'm gonna say, no. Even though we could chop off a lot of the tiers, the only thing that I could see for this pattern is basically making a skirt. Like the 2 tiers skirt and put a waistband on it, flat front, elastic back, maybe. But this pattern is the bare bones of Butterick patterns, okay? This is ground zero, okay? But yeah, this pattern is 6983. Let's move over to the next pattern. Next up, another Catherine Tilton pattern. And while I said the last one, 6981, was bad, this one is just as bad. And it's 6995. Now, I just said that it just seems like she makes nothing but tunic patterns. And I understand you're catering more to probably like the ladies that's in those retirement years. But let's be real. How many of our retired ladies want to just rock tunics all day? Can you give them a variety of like some elasticated pants or a knit top or a cardigan or a pullover dress? Could you give them something other than a tunic every season? Now, in the same season, you're talking about 2 tunics that's the same in the same season. I don't know. But it's $6,995. And then once again, this is a Mrs. Topper tunic. All right. Nothing cute about it. But let's go ahead and get into the next pattern. Next up, Butterick 7015. Now this one is pretty much a nightgown. Now I know some people like myself don't wear nightgowns. However, this pattern are for those who wear nightgowns, make nightgowns. Like, I just feel like having a nightgown that you make, it's great if you're taking like family photos or whatever. But by the time you buy the fabric and make the nightgown and wear the nightgown, you would probably spend more money than if you was just to buy it from Target or Walmart or whatever, or even Amazon. So making a nightgown is not going to be it. But tell me, who purchased this pattern? I'm like, you don't have to say nothing, but you could say, Rochelle, I purchased this pattern because A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Listen, I'm just giving my opinion. And the master says this pattern is not hot, okay? But once again, this pattern is Butterick 7015. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. Now, I just finished talking about the Butterick patterns. So let's wrap this into a nice, lovely bow, right? Before we get into the new year. And let's go ahead and share the Vogue patterns that are the worst this year. Let's go ahead and get into the first one. So the first one is 2019. And this one is a Marcy Tilton. Now, is Catherine and Marcy, are they sisters or, you know, mother-daughter duo, or they don't know each other? I don't know. But anyway, not a cute lounge set. I'm sorry. It's not cute. It's a Vogue pattern. But guess what? It is easy to sew. So they say. It isn't easy to sew. It is loose fitting. So that may be something that you may be drawn to. But the silhouette, the style lines, cut it. No, it's not cute. But once again, it's 2019. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. So the next pattern, 2026. This one is like, I don't even know what to call it. It's a dress. You use bias binding for the armholes. But yeah, it's not cute. It's not cute. Not at all. Not at all. Who picked this pattern up? Like, where are we wearing this to? To the beach? That's about the only place I can see this to. To the grocery store? I don't know. But it's not cute. But once again, this pattern is 2026. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. Next up, 2047. Now, I could see this as being an in-between, cute and not cute. This one definitely did not make the top of the list. However, it did make the bottom. Okay. Now, this one is a advanced to sew pattern. This pattern is 2047. It is strapless. It's a draped bodice. Fully interfaced, built-in foundation. The only place I can see someone wearing this is an award show. Like, if you're going to an award show, maybe. Would I wear this to a frock tail? Absolutely not. You're overly dressed. Too much. Too much. Now, it's great to be overly dressed for a frock tail, but where the hell are you wearing this to? Like, let me wear this and go pick up my kids. Like, where in the world are you wearing this dress to? I'm asking for a friend. But this pattern is 2047. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. All right, next pattern, 2048. Now my daughter likes this pattern and she's like, oh, mommy, I actually bought it for her, right? She's like, oh, I would love this for my prom. Now you guys know prom for her is like in another 2.5 years. We'll see if she changed her mind. But when this pattern came out, I was just like, ugh. This pattern is 2048. Now I saw, whose page was it? I think it was Alyssa Thread. And she made this pattern. And it looks okay on her, just to be 100% honest. But this pattern, yeah. I don't know if it's like the big freaking gigantic bow at the shoulders. I'm missing something here. I can see the lady with the brocade being cute, but it's different. Where are we wearing this to? Where? A wedding? An award show? Definitely not frocktails. Like, I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know where I would wear this to. But once again, this pattern, one of the worst patterns that dropped this year, Vogue 2048. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. Next up is 2073. Now this one, it's in my okay bracket. So even though it's not at the top of my list, but it's not at the bottom of my list either. It's like right in the middle for me. However, when this pattern dropped, you guys gave me the third degree on how bad this pattern is and no, what are they thinking, yada, 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 right? 2073. Which is basically a close fitted line jacket. I don't know where you would wear this to. I wouldn't wear this to work, but maybe a date night. But are you really wearing a jacket for a date night outside of like a quick blazer to cover up your arms? This one you would have to wear all night, like all night long, like Lionel Richie said. I don't know, but it's an advanced to sew pattern. View A is sleeveless. View B have the long two-piece sleeves. Yeah, it did not make the list. It made the bottom of the list. It made a list, but it made the bottom of the list. Once again, this is 2073. Let's go ahead and move over to the last pattern to close out the 24 worst patterns of the Big Four. Simplicity, McCall's, Butterick, and Vogue. All right. So the last pattern is 2076. Now this pattern is a knit dress, a top, and a skirt. And this one you can wear the top either front or back. So basically you could do a switcheroo, back and forth. Now, here's the thing if you do that. Do you want to wear the front in the back and the back in the front? To wear for this pattern, it's a little weird. And the reason why I say that is because the front, if you wear the front, I don't even know which one is supposed to be the front or the back. Let's just be honest. So let's just say that you have the V. So you're going to wear the V in the front and the high neck back, right? But then when you switch it around, you have high neck all the way up here for the back, which you now switch to the front. And then you have a V in the back. I don't know if I would like that, you know, halfway choked up with the, yeah, worst pattern design. I'm sorry. I just got to call it what it is. And then the skirt is just a basic knit skirt. Like you can get the same skirt using Simplicity 8982. Sorry, but that's what I do. I literally try to save you guys money by telling you guys, hey, you guys have these patterns in your stash. No need to pick them up. But yeah, once again, this is 2076. All right, well, those are all 24 of the worst or bad patterns that dropped this year in 2024. I hope you enjoyed this video. If this video was educational, inspiring, and fun, you guys know what to do. Give your girl 2 thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And stay tuned for my next video as I'm going to be running it back and sharing #Make5, hashtag make 9 and hashtag make 25 in 2025. I'm going to be sharing the participants with you, as well as sharing my board with you guys, so you guys can help hold me accountable for my board as well. Well, that's it for this video. Until next time.